Hey guys, welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV full story playthrough. Why am I sitting in Minfilia's chair? Because that's what I do. I'm a cat. If I fit, I sit. Anyway, let's be polite and speak to her from the other side of the desk. Our friends, the very isle itself, every one and everything. No, it avails us not to speculate. Eorzea will send word if there are any developments. Until such time as he does, we must remain firmly focused on that which is within our power to change. With that in mind, I would speak on a different matter, one closer to home. It concerns etheric fluctuations, which we have previously attributed to good King Malgamag XII. That the king is no more is a blessing for which we have you to thank. Yet all is not well in the Twelveswood. Our latest readings reveal an ongoing etheric disturbance of considerable magnitude. They may even suggest the presence of a primal. Needless to say, the mere possibility warrants immediate investigation, and I would have you... Ascilia, I do not wish to interrupt, but we have a problem. What manner of problem? A band of refugees, hailing from Ul'dah this time, are come to Revenant's Toll seeking asylum. It would seem they expect us to afford the same treatment we gave to the Domans. At present, they are in the seventh heaven, awaiting a formal response. I see. Mayhap this was to be expected. I shall meet with them at once. Ascilia, you know full well we haven't the resources to accommodate many more people. Consider what will happen if you do this. Word will spread, and more will follow. Your opinion is duly noted, but I will hear their suit. Foxy, I should be grateful for your presence at this meeting. Yeah, things might get ugly. If these people are Ala Mhigans, they're already a bit fiery. Well, let's see what they want. I apologize for keeping you waiting. My name is Minfilia, and I lead the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. 12 be praised, it is you! We're ready and willing to work, same as the Domans. Just give us a task and we'll see it done. Pray calm yourselves. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I know naught of your situation. Beg your pardon, antecedent. I ain't so good with words. We've been living off the scraps of Ul'dah for years now, trying to piece together a life to replace the ones we got. Or the ones that got taken, whatever. Shit, I'm not good with words either. They say there's work, but there's not for an honest man. Not as wouldn't sully his soul sooner than his palms any road. The flames do what they can for us, of course, but it ain't near enough. And it's only getting worse. When the calamity brought us to our knees, those rich bastards in the city didn't help us up, they climbed on our backs. I don't pretend to be clever, but even I can see what's coming. I knew we had to run, the only question was where. And then it came to me, Revenant's Toll. I mean, you took them foreigners in, didn't you? You'd surely do the same for us. I fear the situation is rather more complicated. While it is true that we accepted the Doman's petition for aid, that decision was the part of extraordinary circumstances. I sympathize deeply with your plight, but pray understand that it is not possible for an organization of our means to aid all who have been affected by the calamity. And so it is with great regret that I must deny your request. But we've nowhere else to go. You're turning your back on us? If I might have a word. Tataru, is aught amiss? Ill tidings from Ul'dah, my lady. Alphinaud has been wounded. What? How? Is it serious? I cannot say for certain, but I fear it might be. According to the flames, the refugees started a riot. They went wild, apparently, lashing out at any and everyone. That can't be right. Why would they? They must have been provoked. The demonstration was meant to be peaceful. 7 hells. Now the Blades have an excuse. They'll round us up and kill anyone who tries to resist. Antecedent, please, if you won't help us build a new life, at least let us keep the ones we've got. My lady, We are not ones to stand idly by and watch innocents suffer. However, until we know more of the circumstances surrounding this riot, I am not certain what aid, if any, we can provide. If the authorities determine that the refugees attacked without provocation, then those responsible will have to answer for their actions. How can you be so blind? Find Alphino and quickly. If he is in danger, or worse, I would have you and none other by his side. Thank you. Pray do not concern yourself with the matter we were discussing earlier. Ida and Papalimo will see to it. Alphino is being treated at the Hourglass. Hurry, Foxy. Alphino?
Come, you must have gathered by now that Tataru is given to exaggeration. As you can see, I am quite well. Ul'dah, on the other hand, is not. This riot was anything but an isolated incident. There is a restlessness in the air. Tensions long simmering are at last threatening to boil over. Ul'dah is a nation infamous for the great disparity between the wealthy and the poor. The majority of the populace accepts this state of affairs because they believe that every man bears responsibility for his own lot in life. To an Ul'dan, money is the foremost, and some would say the only measure of a man's worth. Small wonder that the wealthiest wield the greatest influence.
Fucking potatoes.
So where do the refugees fit into this social hierarchy? What place is there for those who fled Ala Mhigan and the destruction of the Calamity? Plainly, there is none. They have no wealth, no power, and no worth. To the Ul'dan way of thinking, they may as well not exist. Choosing to ignore their existence, however, is patently not an option. General Rauban and the Sultana understand this, which is why they ordered the Immortal Flames to provide the refugees aid and succor. Yet none would dispute that the expenses incurred by this policy grow by the day, with no end in sight. This has prompted more and more Ul'dans to question their obligation to aid these worthless wanderers, while more and more refugees have come to resent their treatment at the hands of the sneering citizenry. The manner of Lord Lolorito's refusal to grant the Dolmens asylum bespoke a disdain for all refugees, an attitude shared by the rest of the monetarists. And you may be sure they make no effort to conceal their opinions. It was only a matter of time before the refugees united in protest, nor is it any surprise that some among them would ultimately resort to violence. That the Immortal Flames should choose this of all occasions to engage in joint training exercises with the other Grand Companies. By the time they return, the situation may well have deteriorated beyond mending.
So, things are looking a little bit rough here in Ul'dah. And that's a samurai doing a dance. It's the summer dance. Okay then. Anyway. As I told you before, it was all but inevitable that an incident of this kind would eventually occur given the rising tensions within the Sultanate. Nevertheless, I would reason to believe that this particular riot may not have begun spontaneously. Have I piqued your curiosity? Good. Then you will accompany to the Hall of Flames. I would hear what General Rauban has to say upon the matter. So, this might not be the ordinary riot. Alright, Rauban, let's hear your opinion. Now is not a good time, Lieutenant Games. My hands are full dealing with the refugees. Precisely the matter we wish to discuss, General. Alphino, back on your feet already. You may credit my swift recovery to your chirurgeons. My memories of the riot are still somewhat muddled. I trust you managed to regain control of the situation? Not entirely. We secured the city soon enough, but not before the unrest had spread to the surrounding territories. Pockets of resistance remain throughout Thanalan. We have sent what forces we can spare to root out the last of the belligerents, but progress is slow. They are damnably elusive. I can well imagine. Given that the majority of refugees live outside the walls, it stands to reason that they would know the lay of the land. What I do not understand is how they came to be so well prepared. Before my little accident, I observed that several refugees were armed, and not with butcher's knives or pitchforks, but with martial weaponry. I need hardly add that such equipment is costly. None can deny that tensions between the Uldan citizenry and the refugee population have increased since the Domans were turned away, but would that motivate a starving man to purchase arms in lieu of food? I think not. And what of those who have not even a single gil to spend, who could not survive without the aid provided by the immortal flames? Surely they would sooner sell a weapon than bring it to bear against their benefactors. Come to the point. Very well. My point, General, is that this powder keg of discontent was not set alight by chance. These events were deliberately set in motion, and now order must be restored. That is my first duty. Until it is done, any investigation can wait. I do not have time to discuss this. My scouts will be returning anon. The General is no fool. He keeps his own counsel, and with good cause. Were he to claim, without the necessary proof, that these riots were instigated by outside forces, the monetarists would accuse him of attempting to shirk responsibility. After all, he and the Sultana have been the most outspoken proponents of refugee aid. Regardless, they will face harsh criticism in the days ahead. Our allies may stumble upon the truth in time, but I have far more faith in your abilities, Foxy. Therefore, I propose we conduct our own investigation, independent of the authorities. To that end, I would have you make inquiries in the settlements suspected of harboring belligerents. Commander Swift will know which they are. He may balk at a request for such information, but I have no doubt you can persuade him with your silver tongue. I, meanwhile, shall seek answers in my own way, after which we can regroup and share our findings. Well then, shall we? Well, I am a lieutenant. You look as though you have something to say, Lieutenant Games, do you? What you ask is no simple favor. Were such information to fall into the wrong hands, the lives of countless soldiers would be at risk. Even so, there is wisdom in your words. An able individual, even one with ties to the flames, may be better suited to this task than a regiment. Very well. The Brass Blades have reported suspicious activity in the vicinity of Lost Hope. It may be unrelated to recent events, but we doubt it. I suggest you begin by speaking to the Blades posted there. If you're wondering what all the noise is, there are fireworks being set off somewhere. I believe for the summer festival. But anyway, we'll head on over to Lost Hope. What an absolutely inspiring name for a camp. It's been a while since we've been here. Leofric, how you doing? I didn't expect them to send you, Foxy. I take it this means someone has read my report. The refugees who left with the merchant have yet to return, and I am increasingly concerned that Zezawaka's suspicions were correct. You haven't the foggiest what I'm talking about, do you? Never mind, speak with Zazawaka. He will explain everything. How about you, Amelberga? What are these fucking names? What brings you here, adventurer? A search for refugees? Well, you've come to the right place. Oh, you mean those refugees? Oh no, you won't find them here. Most of the people of Lost Hope have come to accept their situation and are content to pass their days in peace and quiet. Outsiders have trouble understanding that, like that merchant who passed through recently. Gregarious fellow, but awfully opinionated. Can't say I was sad to see him go. Well, who the fuck is Zazawaka? And who named him? I'd rather have a word with them. Of course he's a fucking potato. Ah, don't hurt me, I'm not one of them. I beg your pardon. You're of the Flames, but you're not with the Flames? I see. If Leofric bid you to speak with me, then I take it you've agreed to help. 'Twill be praised for that, because we haven't a moment to waste. Everyone knows the Flames are on the march. The others have fallen under that fanatic's spell, but not I. Promises of the revolution and retribution, of holding the ruling class to account and taking that which is owed. Ha! A childish fantasy. I did everything I could to dissuade the others from leaving, but few would heed my words. Now that one of our idealists has returned, however, the madness of the merchant's plan is plain for all to see. Look behind yonder tent and you'll understand why. Even now he babbles incoherently, so traumatized is he by the bloodshed he witnessed. Try as I might, I could make little sense of his words beyond the fact that he was not alone in surviving. Yet I've no doubt that merchant will lead the remainder to their doom. I beg of you, find them before he does. Okay, let's talk to this dude. What are you doing? Don't draw. Don't draw, don't draw, don't draw, don't draw! Why didn't you run away with me? We could have escaped together, and you'd be here, with me, be here to soothe me. Why did you have to stay and leave me alone? Okay. Let's soothe him. Who are you? What do you want? Aye, it's true. I followed the merchant, and may the gods strike me down for my folly. What they will not give you must take, he said. When we asked how, he revealed a cache of weapons he had brought, and implored us to seize control of our fates. I thought about running then and there, but the others were so excited. He split us into 2 groups, set us off on our own. But when the Flames found us, we didn't know what to do. Our leader tried to parley with theirs, but then they started arguing, and then fighting. Then everyone was fighting, and the Flames were shouting to give no quarter, and... oh, God's the other group. They're still out there. If we don't stop them, they'll be massacred like mine was. Oh, big trouble is afoot. The other refugees are hiding in the caves south of Lost Hope, but to approach them would be fruitless. They would sooner call us agents of the Sultanate and try to kill us rather than listen. Why, the twins might even deign to do the deed themselves. A pox on all bloody sellswords. They were supposed to train us to fight, but the ones he sent with us vanished during the struggle. Oh, if only we had never listened to that merchant's ridiculous claims. He said our cause is righteous, that the gods would never suffer us to be defeated. Though if they were forced to confront reality, that's it. Challenge the twins to combat and show my brethren that their strongest warriors are no match for one woman. Mayhap then they will agree to lay down their arms and renounce this plot. Who the hell are the twins? I guess we'll find out. Are they in this cave? They sure are. 7 hells, they found us. Everyone grab your gear and make for the rendezvous point. So that's your game, is it? Ha ha ha. Sorry to disappoint you, lass, but we're more than willing to kill you ourselves. Well, let's let my chocobo have some fun too. You guys are idiots. Oh look, more corpses. Yeah, I had sympathy for you guys right up until you decided that you were gonna try and murder me. More? I wonder if these are the twins. used your shield buff a bit too late there, buddy. And that's that. You beat him like it was nothing. Fall Almighty, what are we gonna do now? How about you stop? Oh, that was the wrong button. Okay, let's go back. The deed is done. I beat the hell out of some refugees. You've returned. Did you find my brethren? What of the twins? What happened? I see. Well, you had no choice. Better that a handful of them take a beating from you than the lot get butchered by the flames. Well, I didn't kill them then. Tell me, what did the merchant have to say when it was over? Huh? But where else would he be? Unless he went to Stone's Throw to recruit others. Oh boy, more of them. The merchant wished to approach the refugees in Stone's Throw, but was waiting until the flames withdrew their forces from the vicinity. Now that they have, there's nothing to stop him from continuing his work. How many more must perish in pursuit of this futile cause? How much more suffering must we endure before it ends? Find him. Convince him to cease his mad quest. It will surely lead us to ruin. Ah, but what if it's really not his quest? What if he was paid to send a bunch of refugees at the immortal flames? And the brass blades. Perhaps this is Teleji Adeleji's plot. His revolution, as it were. Alright, let's find this merchant. Who's this? Have you seen my parents? They told me to stay here with the others. They said they'd be back soon, but it's been days. They left with the man from Ul'dah. The man said they were going to change everything, make it so we could live inside the walls with everyone else. I liked it when he said that. I didn't like it when he talked about making the rich people pay. Everyone looked so angry and I got scared. Say, miss, are you looking for someone? Let's see, I'm looking for someone stirring up trouble. You mean the man who left with my parents? But I don't know where he... Uh-oh, who's this? Wait, look! Over there, I think that's him. Well now, which of these gullible fools shall be my next victim? You! Uh-oh. He's getting away! Go get him, miss! Ah, we've got a merchant to murder. You know, that sort of scene really makes me wish that the cutscenes in this game were better. Because it would have really made me happy to see my character full-on tackle this guy. You again? Why are you pursuing me? Sedition, treason, revolution, that's preposterous. Who has filled your head with these lies? Refugees? The self-same refugees who terrorize the streets of Ul'dah? Ha! You have no evidence to prove your accusations. None. No, I will not accompany you to the Hall of Flames. You have no right to detain me. For the sake of argument, let us say I did do the things you claim. Surely you don't think I give a Kikern's ass about politics. It was business, only business. Motherfucker's looking for an exit. We both know I am not the one you want. However, if you agree to protect me, I swear I shall tell you everything. Oh no. Man, this business is getting dirty. What's all this commotion? 7 hells. Tell the others to spread out and search the area. The killer may still be close. Well, we didn't find who we were looking for. Not specifically. We did find the merchant, though. Hold, adventurer. I would know more about your relationship with the victim, as well as the events leading up to his death. Oh, I've got nothing to hide. This man was responsible for the recent riots? Mayhap we owe his murderer a debt of gratitude. In any case, it is obvious you are not the one whom we seek. You may carry on with your investigation, Scion. Good, they're not dumb enough to think I'd stab somebody with an arrow. Back to the Hall of Flames, then. Hey, Mr. Swift. What news, Lieutenant Games? Where's the merchant? Oh, he's dead. He's dead as fuck. Murdered? Damn it all to the 7th hell. He was not simply murdered, Lieutenant. He was silenced. Too many knew his face, and he was ready to divulge his secrets. Do not despair, though. We may be closer to identifying the true orchestrator of these riots than you realize. I hope so. This is getting real rough. The Flame General left word that you are to proceed to the Fragrant Chamber as soon as you returned. He wishes to discuss your recent discoveries as well as the results of our own investigation. Master Alphino has already been informed and should be waiting for you outside. Pray proceed to the Royal Promenade with all haste and speak with Bartholomew. We'll do just that. Well, here's Alphino. Excellent work, Foxy. The information you brought us helped me persuade General Relban to call this meeting. Mayhap now we can discuss matters openly and honestly. We've been expecting you, madam. Please proceed inside. None of this stuff is better than what I've got, so fuck it.
Commander Swift has kept us apprised of your recent activities. You've made great strides towards quelling the violence.
Despite our best efforts to determine what provoked this uprising, the truth continues to elude us. Have you uncovered aught which might shed some light on the mystery?
This information does not leave this room. The Syndicate's decision to reject the Doman refugees' appeal for asylum had lasting repercussions. A number of those displaced by the calamity claimed it was proof of a policy of discrimination. Together with a group of Ala Mhigan refugees, they organized a series of demonstrations to protest against the Sultanate. Demonstrations which became heated, but did not descend into violence. Until a certain incident served as a call to arms.
A unit of brass blades sent to supervise a demonstration loosed arrows upon unarmed protesters. It was this atrocity which prompted the refugees to take up arms. I need not tell you what followed.
We assumed at first that the attack was born of a miscommunication. When emotions run high, they happen. But suspicions were raised regarding the unit's commanding officer, whom I ordered interrogated. Sure enough, our fears were soon confirmed. The dog confessed that a merchant had offered him coin to give the order. A merchant in the employ of Teleji Adeleji.
Oh, shit.
Teleji Adeleji. But he spoke in favor of the Doman's cause, and has ever seemed sympathetic towards the refugees' plight. Why would he do such a thing?
Know you of the Cartano Reclamation Bill? It is a proposal to annex the Cartano Flats so that refugees may establish permanent settlements.
When last I looked, that was disputed territory.
Aye. Some might even call it a battlefield. The destruction wrought by Bahamut was greatest at the Cartano Flats. That much is common knowledge. What is less well known is that his rampage laid bare ancient Alagon ruins, of which no record existed. There are certain differences of opinion as to how these ruins should be handled, which is why each nation maintains a military presence in the region to this day. Yet differ though we may, we are still allies. Therefore, in the interest of preserving the Eorzean alliance, we have reached an agreement. Any conflict which may arise during the course of military exercises in the region shall have no bearing on relations between our nations. In full knowledge of this delicate state of affairs, Teleji Adeleji proposed the Cartano Reclamation Bill. A shameless bloody ruse which stands to benefit him in but one conceivable way. If successful, he will gain control over the disputed territory under the guise of assisting in the resettlement effort. And you can be sure he'll build an orphanage next to every Alagon ruin.
The man would threaten the unity of the Eorzean alliance and risk countless lives for personal gain.
He walks a path all his own, independent of any faction and beholden to none of his fellows on the Syndicate.
By inciting the less fortunate to violence, he hopes to convince others that the Cartano Reclamation Bill is the only viable solution. His sympathy for the plight of the Domans was not but posturing to gain credibility with the refugees. Of that there can be no doubt.
Forgive me, but what could possibly motivate Teleji Adeleji to go to such lengths? What is so special about these ruins that he would risk his position on the Syndicate, and, most likely, charges of treason against the Sultanate?
Omega.
Pardon?
An Alagon monstrosity, not unlike the Ultima weapon. Mayhap larger, we know not. It has yet to be fully excavated. Alagon inscriptions indicate that it was created to fell Bahamut himself. If accurate, it might explain why Nail Van Darnus chose to bring the Red Moon down upon the Cartano Flats. Given the ends he went to ensure Eorzea's annihilation, destroying the one weapon which could stay the Elder Primal may well have seemed like good sense.
When first I bore witness to the power of the Ultima weapon, I doubted the evidence of my senses. And now you tell me there is another such weapon. One which could contend with Bahamut. Bahamut!
Aye, we were skeptical ourselves. Truth be told, until the Ultima weapon's existence came to light, we thought the inscription had been mistranslated.
At present, Omega is more akin to a fossil than a tool of war, having long since ceased to function. As such, its true potential cannot accurately be gauged. However, if someone were to restore it, as the Garleans did the Ultima weapon, I have little doubt that he would wield untold power.
Power enough to subjugate Uldar like as not, and the rest of Eorzea besides, which is doubtless why Teleji Adeleji yearns to have it.
That he should aspire to world domination. He who has ever walked 2 paces behind Lord Lolorito in matters of commerce.
'Tis in acknowledgement of his own limitations that he seeks this power. Woe betide us all should we allow him to have it.
Pray waste no time chasing rats. Only a fool would believe that secrets can be kept in Ul'dah.
It would seem the implications of the Sultanate's refugee problem are rather more far-reaching than we assumed.
Well, that's not good. Somebody was listening in. It's taking a hell of a long time for everyone to zone in. I should be glad to know the truth, and yet, the thought that all this chaos was the product of one man's lust for power sickens me. How long do you think they intend to hide the existence of Omega from the Scions? That they even felt the need to do so is most troubling. It would be in our best interest to learn more of the military activities in the disputed territories. You are, of course, the Scion best suited to the task, Lieutenant Games. Do take a moment to visit the Hall of Flames and make inquiries at the earliest available opportunity. Begone, whelp, this is no place for children. Wow, what a dick. I'm sorry. Oh hey, it's the girl from Lost Hope. Or, Stone's Throw. I was looking for you, miss. You said you were looking for the man who left with my parents. You know this girl? So he visited Stone's Throw as well. I see. Did you find the man? Were my parents with him? They were not, I'm afraid. However, I can think of several places they might be. If you like, we can go and look for them together. Really? You'd help me look, mister? Of course, but first I must needs finish speaking with my friend. She's telling me a secret, you see, so no one else is allowed to listen. Mayhap you could wait for me by that pillar over there. We require but a moment. Okay, mister, I'll be waiting. I'll take her to the quicksand. Mayhap Momodi will know what to do. A legion of Garleans, an ether-starved primal. Even dealing with an Ascian would be preferable to this charade. Sometimes I fear Minfilia is too ambitious. We rush hither and yon in response to threats as they arise, without concern for the strain it places on our limited resources and ourselves. Mayhap the time has come for a change. Foxy, this is Minfilia. I know this is sudden, but I ask that you return to Revenant's Toll with all due haste. The situation in the Twelveswood has taken a turn for the worse. I will explain in detail once you arrive. One problem after another. The Twelveswood, and the primal threat she spoke of before, has been confirmed. I've received no reports of Ixali activity, which leaves the Sylphs? Go, Foxy. You know as well as I that the appearance of a primal takes precedence over all else. Oh, and when you arrive, do inform the antecedent that while I am grateful for her concern, she needn't fear for my safety. I am more than capable of protecting myself. Thancred. Some 15 years ago, a mission took me to Ul'dah. 'Twas then that I first chanced to gaze upon your beauty. I was utterly transfixed. I dared not blink lest I deprive myself of even a split second of your radiance. Oh, jeez, I mean, not gonna lie. Oh, what's the button? Not that one. Nope, that's the wrong goddamn button. Home, that's it. She's aged remarkably well. You do flatter me, dear, and I do believe you had a bit too much to drink. Yes, he has. Oh, the Serpent Herald is here. I am come on behalf of the Elder Seedseer to petition the aid of your order. The antecedent has been deprived of the situation. It is a relief to see you healthy and hale, Foxy. The latest news from Ul'dah was most disturbing. Clearly, the only injury Alphanos suffered was to his ego. Doubtless it will heal ere long. The other Scions will need to be present for this meeting. If you are ready to begin, I will summon them now. I hope Thancred sobers up real quick. Thank you for responding to my call with such haste. Rest assured, I should not have summoned you if it were not urgent. To business, then. I have received some most disturbing news from the Order of the Twin Adder. They have reason to believe that the Sylphs may have called forth their revered guardian, the primal Ramu. I'm sorry, may have? Then it is not certain? The Elder Seedseer informs us that the elementals themselves murmur of the Lord of Levin's return to the forest. The Sylphlands, however, display no signs of undue commotion. Forgive me, antecedent, but the fact need not contradict the elemental's testimony. Unlike his more bellicose compeers, Garuda and so on, Ramu is reputed to act only in defense of his children. I imagine he would soon make his presence known if any were foolish enough to directly endanger the Sylphs or their territory. The abruptness of this development concerns me. Were we not keeping a close watch on the Touched Ones and their movement? If preparation for a summoning ritual were indeed underway, it would surely not have escaped your notice. Oh, it didn't. I was pretty sure it was going to happen, just not this soon. I beg your pardon. You foresaw this eventuality and did naught to prevent it. I told Papalimo. I suppose I could have reported things to Minfilia earlier, but there honestly wasn't much we could do except wait and see. You know how the Sylphs feel about people poking around in their territory. They already summoned Ramu once right after the calamity, but that was because the Garleans came tramping through the forest. And so long as Castrum Orien stands, the Sylphs cannot be blamed for wishing to have their guardian deity on hand. In short, Ida and I are in agreement. The actions of the forest folk were inevitable and unavoidable. And I maintain that the observation would have remained the best policy had it not been for the sudden influx of strangers into the Black Shroud. That, alas, we did not foresee. By all accounts, the recent violence in Ul'dah drove a number of refugees to seek safety under the concealing canopy of the trees. 'Tis like that the Sylphs perceived this panicked migration as yet another invasion, and quickened their efforts to summon their god. I am put in mind of Titan and the kobolds. Once again it is the affairs of men which have paved the way for a primal's coming. Indeed, one cannot help but wonder what manner of place Eorzea would be without the civilizing influence of mankind. Be that as it may, this regrettable development does afford us a unique outlook. Or opportunity, rather. I don't know why I saw outlook. Foxy, through your dealings with the Sylphs of Little Solace, you once succeeded in preventing an untimely conflict with Gridania. I wonder, might one who has treated with the Sylphs so fruitfully in the past not achieve similar success with their patron deity? If Ramu can be convinced of our intentions, it may be the first step to breaking this cycle of primal summoning. A fond hope. Were such a thing possible, we would not have been at war with the Beastmen since time immemorial. But maybe this time we can... Let us continue this discussion anon. We must needs first consult with the nation most affected by Ramu's presence. The Elder Seedseer has requested your personal involvement, Foxy. Pray report to Commander Hulo at the Adder's Nest as soon as you are able. Steel yourself for the worst. While I hope for a peaceful resolution to this matter, experience suggests that your meeting with the Lord of Leven will prove less than amicable. In such an event, your fellow scions will of course lend you whatever support you require. Let's hope that he's amenable to negotiation then. To Gridania then. This person's name is Super Nyan. I mean, he looks a bit like a twink, to be honest. But, you know. Foxy of the Scions, your arrival has been most anticipated. The appearance of a primal is ever cause for alarm and unease. Though my men stand ready for any eventuality, I know of none more qualified than you to snuff out this threat. Indeed, I would have you do so without delay. The Elder Seedseer, however, would speak with you first. She is of the opinion that your diplomatic, rather than martial, skills may better serve our cause. I will leave further explanation to our learned leader. Pray make your way to Nofika's altar. The conjurer in attendance will admit you to the Lotus Stand. As usual. Ah, this place once again, with its super peaceful, pretty music, and its... I don't know, are these lily pads? They look more like tree stumps, which is weird. Oh well. Hey, everybody's here.
Scions of the Seventh Dawn, on behalf of the people of Gridania, I bid you welcome. Your presence is of great comfort to us all in these days of uncertainty. I summoned you here to share tidings of a most urgent nature. But a short while ago, the great elemental spoke, and his voice was clarion in its intensity. Ramuh is returned unto the forest. Scarce had his words ceased to echo in mine ears when we were visited by an emissary from Little Solace. Our guest informs us that the Sylphs, too, have sensed the presence of the Lord of Leven. Though his exact whereabouts remain unknown, we may safely assume that the primal was summoned within the heart of the Sylphlands. Unlike the other primals you have encountered, Lord Ramuh is no raging avatar of destruction. He is revered as much for his wisdom as his strength, serving as both arbiter and guardian to his children. Given that we and the Sylphs found a way to share the Twelveswood, it is my hope that this sagely immortal will be amenable to reason, and that conflict may be avoided. Blessed as you are with the power of the Echo, you are one of the few among us who may commune with a primal without fear of influence. I would ask, therefore, that you represent us in this most delicate of negotiations. The Twelveswood has suffered enough. Upon this, we and the Sylphs, and I would venture Lord Ramuh himself, are in perfect accord. Let us not endanger our shared home by engaging in unnecessary hostilities. Dear friend, I beseech you, safeguard the peace which exists between our peoples. You have my thanks. Pray make for Little Solace, then. A member of the Order of the Twin Adder awaits you there. He will advise you on how to find the Lord of Leven. An ill wind blows through the forest. Yet, it is not only the Twelveswood that flinches at its coming. All the lands of Eorzea shiver in dread anticipation. Have care.
Well, that's foreboding. Okay, to Little Solace then. Oh, being able to fly through here is so nice. I know I've said that about a bunch of places already, but I'll be able to fly through the Sylphlands, one of the most annoying to navigate places in this game. Foxy of the Scions, I was told to expect you. I understand you go to treat with the primal Ramuh himself, an unenviable task, but one for which I have no doubt you are well suited. I've been told that your fellow Scions are conducting an investigation of the area as we speak, and we might ascertain the location and where the Lord 11 might be found. I would ask that you abide here, until they return with their findings. It's shit. That's a beard. I was told that a messenger would be sent as soon as your fellow Scions finish their investigation. I do not imagine it will be much longer. This one returns, and returns with good tidings. Wise ones have finished searching, and have wisely identified the precise location where the Touched One summoned Lord Ramuh. Your timing is impeccable, my fluttery friend. Might you be so kind as to escort this good woman to her fellow Scions? It would be this one's pleasure, Walking One. Please, please come with this one. I hope I don't have to escort this stupid sylph. Oh man, this place has a different energy from up above. Look at that. What even is that? What is that? What are those? What is that? What is this? Oh well. Maxio. Wise ones have ventured deep, deep within the Sylphlands. These ones must proceed carefully and keep an eye out for touched ones. And so we shall. From the air. This one is most sorry, but this one can go no further. Draw too close to Lord Ramuh, and this one may turn mean and nasty like touched ones. And so this one must say farewell for now. Walking One will find wise ones not far from here to the south. Go in safety, Walking One. Oh, don't worry, we'll be careful. Ah, here they are. Ida? So, Thancred is Thancred, Papalimo is Papalimo, Y'shtola is Y'shtola, and you are you, right? Well, that's easy enough to remember. This one's name is Ida, in case the Walking One was wondering. Joking! I'm joking. Oh, right, I think there was a side thing where you were finding people. You were finding these guys, but they were actually sylphs disguised as them? I don't know. But I skipped that by flying. Ah, there you are. It is you, isn't it? Don't ask. Suffice it to say that we had something of a situation here. Oh, I think that might actually have gotten skipped. Maybe that part of this quest was trimmed when they fixed the 7th Astral Era quests. So it's actually you. I'm relieved. For a moment, I thought we were dealing with another one of those confounded sylph tricksters. I swear with them wreaking havoc with their skin-changing magics, it's a wonder I was able to finish taking my measurements. Yes, it was quite the ordeal. You should have seen the look on Y'shtola's face when the one impersonating you suddenly showed up. That's quite enough, Papalimo. My apologies. It's not like me to ramble so. At any rate, as I was saying, I have finished measuring etheric activity in the area, and am pleased to say I have reached an indisputable conclusion, to wit that Ramuh was called forth in the vicinity of the Sylph's Aetheryte. Come, Foxy, the Lord of Leven awaits. So where is this Aetheryte? Oh, here it is. So they decided just to run.
Thine order betrays thee, servant of hiding. Thou art the bringer of light, bane of Ifrit, Titan, Garuda, and Leviathan. I am Ramu, guardian of the children of the forest. Thou tramplest upon sacred soil, bringer of light. By what right doth man intrude in this sanctuary of the sylphs? Gridanians proffer peace? Their words are born of delusion, thine offer an insult. Thou speakest of harmony, yet carest naught for my children's desires. They did but wish to dwell beneath these boughs in solitude. Yet even that was too much to ask of man. Thus did they turn to me for succor. The sentence I pronounce upon thy kind is just. Gridanian or Garlean, it matters not. The good intent of one excuseth not the misdeeds of the other. Thy conflicts have brought naught but anguish and misery unto the forest. All blame doth lie with the darkness that resideth in the breast of man. Whence sprung this calamitous seed? In the beginning no such duality existed. Were light and dark given form when man was born? It would explain much. Not least why strife and sorrow follow ever in thy wake. Thou canst not deny the urgings of thine own nature. Knowing that thy mere presence here portendeth tragedy, wilt thou persist in this pretense of peacemaking? Thou bearest the crystal which I bestowed upon my wayward charges, that they should entrust so precious a gift to thee. Thou standest apart from thy kin. Thou art the bringer of light, aye. But there is something more in thee. Very well. I shall consider thy proposal, shouldst thou survive my trial. If thou wouldst champion the cause of harmony, I must have proof that thou art fit to play the role. Wither mine ire, and prove to me thereby that thou hast strength enough to stay the darkness which threateneth to consume thee. Yet if thou shouldst be found wanting, know that all men shall perish in the storm of my judgment. Come to me, bringer of light. I shall await thee on the field of battle.
Eorzea, it is rare indeed to find you so far from a tome.
The Lord of Levin himself. Never till this day had I looked upon his visage, save in painted renderings made faint by time. Ever shall this scene remain etched in my mind's eye. Beg pardon, my lady. I must beg thine aid on a point of research. If thou art resolved to face Lord Ramu, I would ask thy leave to observe the event.
Ah, the striking tree. So, in order to win approval with Ramu, we have to face him in battle, and we will most certainly oblige. Alright, here we are in the Striking Tree hard mode. Or, well, there's only one real difficulty mode. If you're targeted by thunderstorm, don't stand by people. Avoid that. Make sure that these orbs do not stay up, but do not collect more than 3. Okay, I had the stacks cleared off of me, so I can have another couple of orbs. Too many orbs on the field, and he has his attacks empowered. I don't know how somebody died there. Alright, I am going to leave some orbs up for another mechanic that's going to happen. In fact, I may have taken too many. People keep dying, and I'm not sure how. Okay, these need to die. Is anyone actually going to do it? Also, this music is really cool. We'll take one of these orbs. Because we don't want too many up. Alright, we're good. Take one of these orbs. We only really need 3 up. Okay, these two over there who are tethered, one of them has to pick up 3 orbs, and somebody just fucked up by grabbing them. So now they get to sit still and do nothing until that tether breaks. Oh well. He's almost dead anyway. This dancer has done nothing but die the entire time. Or is that... I don't think that's dancer, is it? I don't know the symbols. Okay. Arbiters, when they come out, need to die. If they do not die fast enough, he will wipe the party. So I sure hope the DPS are on them. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna take a couple of these. And some caster decided to take the limit break instead of giving it to the melee for some reason. But it hardly matters now. We're good. Back to the ether with you. You sure don't get Yeet Us. What a great name. This person has done nothing but die the entire time. I got 3 commends. I barely even did anything. The other tank had him the entire time.
I have taken thy measure, bringer of light. And I judge thee a worthy champion. The task of excising the sin that hath taken root in man's heart is thine. Shrink not from employing thy strength in service to the forest and the wider realm beyond. Like hungering shadows do the enemies of harmony gather, and meekness will but feed them. If man is to be delivered from the dark, it shall be by thy guiding light alone. Stray not from the path, for if thou dost, thy people shall be truly lost.
Thou hast slain the Lord of Levin. A regrettable act, but a necessary one. In witnessing thy struggle, a truth hath been revealed unto me. If I mistake not, it may yet prove a chink in the eternal armor of the Ascians. But let us conclude our present business. I shall expound upon my findings at the Rising Stones anon.
I get the distinct impression that Ramuh could have revived himself, if he wanted to. But he chose to leave the future of man to man. Definitely one of the nicer primals. And we're back at Little Solace. Foxy, you've returned. Dare I ask how Ramuh received your visit? He challenged you to a test of arms. It is well, then, that you have some experience in such matters. The people of both Gridania and Little Solace will be relieved to hear that the Lord of Levin has accepted you as the forest's champion of peace. You have performed a monumental duty this day, Foxy. The Elder Seed Seer must be informed of your deeds at once. Yes, of course. We'll head back to Gridania. The Elder Seed Seer will wish to hear of your experiences firsthand. Pray return to Gridania and make directly for the Lotus Stand. Yep, as usual. I have slain the most glorious beard in the Twelveswood. Fear me.
You are returned to us, dear friend, and none the worse for bearing the heavy burden which I did press upon you. Most glad am I of this. I am informed that your efforts to negotiate a peace with Lord Ramuh ended in conflict. Pray tell me, what befell? Ramuh made trial of you? I fear there is truth to his claim. It is the darkness within us that attracts the darkness without. It cannot be denied that misfortune follows man. For evidence, one need only look to the conflict brewing in Cartonel, or to the rising flood of refugees. Our shared struggle against the Empire should have served to seal our union. Yet the ties which bind the Alliance strain under the weight of gross self-interest.
And how many times must you be taught this lesson? Gaius was right.
As the scars of the calamity begin to fade, so too does our sense of common purpose. Yet now is scarce the time to forget our shared responsibility. If this new-sprung realm is to survive beyond its infancy, it must needs be nurtured by all. Eorzea must be as one. Yet I fear that dream is still far off. On behalf of the people of Gridania and the elementals both, I thank you for all that you and your fellow scions have done. Full oft have I been compelled to look to you for aid of late, and offered all too little in return. As leader of this nation, I shall endeavor to prove a more worthy ally to your cause henceforth. Lord Ramuh has departed, yet the keening of this ill wind grows no less insistent. Voices of the forest, pray speak and I shall listen. What unseen evil begets this unease in my heart?
The shadows stir elsewhere. Thus ends another daunting mission, eh, Foxy? I'd hoped Lord Ramuh could be persuaded with words alone, but nonetheless I can only admire the adroitness with which you responded to the primal's sudden challenge. And it seems that Urianger too was pleased with the outcome. What say you, Foxy? Shall we gather back at the Rising Stones and ponder the lessons of the day? I'm sure that Minfilia will be eager to hear more of your adventures. Let us return to the Rising Stones and put our thoughts in order. You should have seen Maxia when we got back to Little Solace. Grateful is an understatement. I thought he was going to shake Papalimo's hand off. Aw, that's cute. I fancy my presence was more help than hindrance during our troubles with Leviathan, but this time around, well, even I have my off days. And there's not much you could have done, Thancred. 'Twould seem that Ida's appraisal of the situation held some merit after all. Perhaps I should not be so swift to discount her intuition. I mean, Ida's fiery and excitable, but she's not dumb. We're home. Welcome back, Foxy. Word of your momentous encounter with Lord Ramuh precedes you. I would fain share news of mine own, but Urianger's discoveries must take precedence. Upon witnessing your defeat of the Lord of Leven, our learned companion was struck with a profound insight regarding the nature of the Ascians' immortality. Let us assemble and discuss his observations together.
If everyone is ready, let us begin. Eorzea, the floor is yours.
As all here assembled now know, in its final hours as our Order's headquarters, the waking sands did play host to a most unexpected visitor. I speak of the Ascian clad in white, Elidibus. Unwelcome though his presence was, his words that day did serve to confirm a truth long suspected, that the Ascians are eternal beings, to whom physical destruction is as a temporary inconvenience.
In the intervening time, Eorzea and I have striven to discover a means by which the Ascians might more permanently be slain.
And 'tis my belief that we have found the thread that will allow us to unravel the twisted skein of their existence. In the moments prior to Leviathan's most recent manifestation, the Sahagin elder who summoned him was observed to undergo some manner of ascension. The etheric readings taken by Y'shtola at the time of this transfiguration have proven most enlightening.
The disruption to the flow of ether was sudden and dramatic. So tangible was the agitation, I scarce had need of my goggles.
The significance of Y'shtola's readings might better be understood in the context of mine own, taken at the instant of the Lord of Leven's demise. Unlike the primal, the Sahagin was not subject to etheric dissipation.
Before discussing our new discoveries, it may benefit us all to recall what we know of etheric behavior. Let us begin at what some might call the end. When we who dwell in the material realm die, our spirits dissolve into the flow of ether and are returned to the ethereal realm. In turn, the restless energy which suffuses that plane streams back into our world, giving rise to new life.
'Tis as the heavens did decree, the way of all mortal souls. Twixt this world and the next do the ethereal currents swirl, bearing the very essence of life. Thus doth the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth continue unabated.
Primals behave somewhat differently. In order to manifest and then maintain a physical presence in this realm, they must consume vast quantities of ether, most often in the form of crystals. Though they may seem to live, their flesh is but ether given shape. Thus, a defeated primal leaves behind no broken corpse. Rather, the essence of its form seeps back into the land whence it came, and the energy of its shattered spirit is called back to the ethereal realm.
And there it waiteth, till next the prayers of the faithful do draw it forth from the sea of ether, to take their offering of crystals and make for itself a new body.
Which brings us on to the third group, the so-called immortals. They exist in a manner all their own.
Quite. Even as the Sahagin elder fell to the Admiral's musket shot, I witnessed the release of an ethereal cloud, which immediately took possession of a nearby minion.
A soul that dissipateth not upon the death of the flesh.
The secret of life everlasting, and in the claws of a Sahagin no less. But I wonder, What would happen to one of these obstinate spirits, should there be no suitable host for it to claim?
If mortal death entails a return to the ethereal realm, it seems doubtful that the soul of an immortal would venture there.
Nay, it merely withdraweth the distance, unto the shore of the ethereal sea, perchance, but no further.
Yes, it exists in neither this realm nor the next, abiding instead in the space that lies between them. The Ascians took control of Thancred by means of a crystal of darkness, an artifact which, if our theories are correct, serves as a gateway to the place I have just described.
I was hoping people had forgotten about that.
I am sorry, my friend.
For a mercy, the weary road of our research hath brought us unto an answer.
The Sahagin ascended to an immortal state, but he did not possess a crystal of darkness through which to flee this realm. Thus was he consumed by Leviathan. If we could entrap the spirits of defeated Ascians in like manner, and thereby deny them resurrection...
Therein lieth the path to victory. Thou art most perceptive, my lady. Only when we have trapped the bodiless soul within an ethereal prison can we hope to defeat its unnatural constancy. Thus might even an eternal paragon be consigned to oblivion.
These feats are, of course, far easier said than done. At present, we lack a viable means to entrap and extinguish an Ascian soul. Yet, I believe it to be possible. The pieces of the puzzle lie before us. We have but to put them together.
I will depart at once to convene with the sages of Sharlayan. Together shall we divine the steps by which our goals may be achieved.
I have the utmost faith in you, Archon.
Beg pardon, antecedent, but I would raise one final matter. Even now, a Sharlayan survey party seeketh to ascertain the fate of the students of Baldessian. Their findings shall soon be known to us. Though you harbor feelings of dread, I bid you surrender not to sorrow, but abide instead in hopeful prayer.
I shall, Archon. Thank you.
Well, this place is disturbing, and reminds me of Kingdom Hearts. The Lord of Levin is returned to the Ether, as was Leviathan before him. Ramuh's acquiescence was most intriguing. Inferno, Vortex, Crag, Whirl, and Levin. All have now been humbled by the Bringer of Light. The limitless potential of man, Heidel's servant, grows mightier by the day. Yet she prospers at great cost to her mistress, whose strength is all too finite. 7 times have the masses survived the rejoining, but their souls are grown weak and wan. Yet even as it enervates, the ardor empowers our master. All that remains is to nurture the strength of the gifted, to forge the final key. And that is the task to which we bend our every effort. Divine seeds were ever wont to quicken in Eorzea's fertile soil. We need only lead men to the field, and by their eager hands shall a new deity arise. That which was shattered shall be made anew, and the one true God shall come again. Okay. We've got some other stuff to do. Now the matter of Ramuh has for the present been put to rest, there is something I would show you, Foxy. It is a letter of thanks signed by the leaders of the Eorzean Alliance, acknowledging the Scions' tireless service to the realm. It mentions in particular the names of all the defeated primals, Ifrit, Titan, Garuda, Good King Mogomog XII, Leviathan, and now Ramuh. Needless to say, there was only one among our number to have faced them all. And although these words of gratitude were addressed to our order as a whole, I feel that they were meant for you above all others. I, too, must offer my heartfelt thanks for all that you have done. In the course of your duties, you have never once failed to answer my call to arms. You are a true hero, Foxy, and Eorzea is that much safer for your presence. Pray do not misunderstand me. I said safer, not safe. I know only too well that we can ill afford to lower our guard. The Ascians may be relied upon to sow chaos in this realm until such time as they are forced to stop. While even without their encouragement, you may be assured that man would foment his own strife. And that is to say nothing of the beast tribes. Unless we learn to live in harmony, the primals too will return to plague us again and again and again. And yet, despite all of this, your deeds serve to inspire the people, to give them hope for a better tomorrow, and there is no greater gift. That we have the courage to strive for what might otherwise seem an impossible peace, we owe in no small part to the dangers you have faced on our behalf, and the people you have won over to our cause in so doing. Our list of enemies has ever been long, but think of the allies with whom we are now blessed. Of the sylphs of Little Solace who wish not of conflict. Of Alice, who strives to unearth the terrible secrets of the Calamity. And then there is Sid and the Fellowship of Noah, racing to unlock the mysteries of ancient Alleg that we might be spared the horror of another Ultima weapon. Of course, when speaking of our greatest allies, we must not forget those closest to us, by which I mean our fellow Scions. Thanks to their many and varied talents, our order is uniquely equipped to combat the far-reaching corruption of the Ascians, and combat it we shall. Your enthusiasm is truly heartwarming, antecedent. Given our embarrassing wealth of allies, I trust it will not inconvenience you unduly if I absent myself for a time. Alphino, I take it the troubles in Ul'dah no longer require your attention. There are yet some rumblings of discontent, but the air of simmering violence is largely dissipated. 'Tis to report such that I stand before you now. That, and to speak with you concerning the new organization we discussed. Ah, I have a message to you from Elle. You recall the refugee girl? The one whose parents were missing? They were found unharmed. She wished me to pass her thanks on to you. Why, Alphino, am I to understand that you made the effort to remember the poor girl's name? I look forward to reading all about her in your report. I do hope you left nothing out. Foxy, you have been away from Revenant's Toll for some time now, I believe. Might I suggest you put the affairs of the realm to one side for the moment, and take this opportunity to reacquaint yourself with the town? Which reminds me, one of the Doman children recently inquired as to your whereabouts. Yozun was his name. I believe he has some small matter he wishes to share with you. Why not oblige him with a visit? I have no time for kids. That's a lie. I've got plenty of time, but who the hell wants to deal with kids? Alright, Yozen, what do you want? Look, it's Miss Foxy. She's back from her adventures. We heard you were off fighting primals and that they are some of the strongest enemies you could ever face. I wish I could have seen you in battle. Anyway, we all want to be heroes too, so we finally formed our very own Doman Adventurers Guild to protect all the Domans. Oh, do you think you could train us today, Miss Foxy? Maybe you could show us how you fought the primals. What's all this commotion, then? Mr. Boulder and Mr. Coultonay, did you know Miss Foxy is back? So it would seem. Welcome home, Foxy. My companion and I but recently became full members of the Scions, and I believe proper introductions have yet to be made. I am known as Hoary Boulder, and this bookish fellow is Coultonay. Though we remain largely unproven as adventurers, we have taken it upon ourselves to instruct the Doman younglings in the art of combat. Ugh, I told you, Mr. Boulder, we are not younglings anymore. We are adventurers. We were just asking Miss Foxy if she could give us some special training. I think we're ready to hunt monsters alongside her, don't you? Well, you've certainly been diligent with your drills, but I'm afraid the fiends of Mordona are still ever so slightly too dangerous for you. I have a counter-proposal. What if I were to cross swords with Foxy? A demonstration of skills at arms, if you will. Hoary, if I didn't know you better, and I do, I'd say you were merely seeking to test yourself against a legend. Ah ha ha! Well, mayhaps I am. But what matters the motive when your children stand to learn so much from the lesson? What say you, Foxy? Would you consent to spar with me? Yeah, I'll beat the hell out of you, sure. Hurrah! We're to have a tournament. Come on, everyone, we must prepare our gear for an outing. I don't see why we can't just do it in here. Do try not to disappoint them, Have faith, Coultonay. I shall summon every last ounce of my strength to make of this a worthy contest. The fields to the east of town should prove suitable for our purpose. I very much look forward to our bout. Alright, let's go all the way out of town just to beat the hell out of one big guy. Right here by this old broken piece of what's probably an airship. Miss Foxy is here. Let the battle begin. As we left the Rising Stones, Mr. Thancred asked us where we were going. I told him we were off to watch you and Mr. Boulder fight, and he looked very surprised. I hope we haven't made him cross. No, I'm sure Thancred is just worried for Boulder. We had a master of lessons back in Doma, and the way he taught us is very different from Mr. Boulder. I'm not sure which way is better, but I think I like them both. Is sparring dangerous? I don't think I want to see anyone else being hurt. Well, not dangerous for me. Since becoming a scion, I've had much opportunity to hear news of your epic deeds. I must confess, then, that my excitement rivals that of the children at the prospect of seeing you in action firsthand. Well, how flattering. Might not feel that way when I knock your friend to the ground. It was good of you to agree to this, Foxy. I trust you're ready to begin? Alright, Boulder. Let's see what you're made of. Very well. Let us not keep the younglings waiting any longer. Hoary, are you certain you wish to fight her alone? That is Foxy you face. What better way to test my mettle? Pray allow me to attempt the first round unaided. After all, 'twas this hero's legend that led me to join the Scions to begin with. Without Foxy to inspire my efforts, I would not be half the warrior I am today. Your point is well made, but remember, this is for the children's sake as well as your own. Should it appear the contest will end too swiftly, I shall add my spells to your blade work. Hello, you haven't begun yet, have you? Ida, Thancred. Ida, what? Who are all these people? When I heard about your sparring match, I told everyone I could find. Thought you could use a crowd to cheer you on. Yes, and there are still more to come. When I mentioned Foxy's name, the reaction was quite enthusiastic. While my own popularity seems but a sickly shade in comparison. You'd best claim victory, Bringer of Light. Your burgeoning reputation is at stake. Well, our teacher won't be beaten so easily. He's a master swordsman. You can win, Mr. Boulder. We shall soon see. On your guard. Alright, Boulder. Let's see what you got. Wow. That was easy. Mr. Boulder won't lose, will he? It's not over yet. It can't be. Aye, the children have the right of it. 'Tis time I joined the fray. On your feet, Hoary. Well, I hope you guys are ready for a beatdown. There goes Boulder again. Oh no, he looks hurt. Ah, he'll live. Oh, he's up again. I must admit defeat. Can't disappoint the younglings. Roar! Here we go. Oh wow. I'm actually not damaging him at all now. Now I am. Well, you got Spirit, Hoary. A really unfortunate name. I know Hoary doesn't mean an actual whore, but, you know. You have bested me. I yield. That was incredible! She beat them both at the same time! We knew you couldn't lose, Foxy. None can defeat the Guardian of Eorzea. Now I see why they send you to deal with the primals. I have much work to do if I'm ever to attempt the same. I feel a bit like I've embarrassed these two. Impressive as always, Foxy. 'Tis ever a pleasure to witness the spectacle of your martial prowess. And judging by the smiles on these many faces, they too appreciate the hard-won strength that keeps the perils of the realm at bay. Guardian of Eorzea. Yes, that is a most fitting title. Do you recall when we first met? 'Twas at the memorial service for the Battle of Cartano. At the time, I was yet attempting to understand this land of Eorzea. I sought to grasp the reason why Grandfather willingly sacrificed himself to protect it. I shall speak plainly. My initial impressions were less than favorable. Dire problems abounded, and yet the effort I saw expended toward their solution was haphazard and half-hearted. I thought Eorzeans a foolish and childish people. Considering the shambles their home was in, I would not have been surprised if some had chosen to swear allegiance to Gaius and the order he proposed to enforce. The Legatus' single-minded military invasion precluded any such switching of loyalties, of course. Were it not for a desire to continue Grandfather's legacy, I would have abandoned the realm to its fate long ago. The threats were too many, the nations too self-involved and unstable. 'Twas you who convinced me the salvation of Eorzea was possible. 'Twas you who taught me, through countless acts of bravery, that what my grandsire sought to preserve was not the land, nor its history, nor any single nation. It was the people, these wonderful, often infuriating, stubborn people that suffer blow after terrible blow, only to drag themselves back to their feet to face another day. Though he never put such feelings into words, I believe Grandfather's admiration for this inextinguishable courage grew into a fervent wish, a wish to aid Eorzea and its inhabitants in charting a course for the future. A wish that has now become my own. I too will endeavor to take up the mantle of Guardian of Eorzea and champion these people who toil towards a better world. Our cause, however, is not a simple one. The troubles that plague us are of a scale that cannot be solved by the Scions of the Seventh Dawn alone. No, what is needed to tackle the root of the primal threat and effectively counter the schemes of the Ascians is a new, expanded organization that operates beyond the limitations of nations and borders. If you would aid me in building such an organization, then pray let us continue this discussion back within the walls of the Rising Stones. This person's name is Give Head Pats, and their free company is Please. Give Head Pats, please. There's your head pats. Oh my god, and I got head pats in return. Yes! Thank you for coming, Foxy. The world shifts and alters, and we, my friend, must ever be one step ahead of the chaos. What I propose is the formation of a new organization, a group that shall pave the way for a truly united Eorzea. Pray forgive me if I tread over old ground, but I would first speak of the grand plan. Since the advent of the Seventh Astral Era, the leaders of the three nations have been deliberating over an accord that seeks to bring the disparate forces of Eorzea together into a single entity. A realm-wide grand company, if you will. The military might of such an institution would be drawn from every corner of the land, and directed against threats that no single nation could hope to overcome alone. Yet while the purpose of this hypothetical organization is undisputed, the logistics of its formation would have become the source of endless debate. And the longer these discussions continue, the more I sense the impetus towards unification draining away. Thus, I have been campaigning for the creation of what might be considered a trial company. It will be on a much smaller scale than what we hope to eventually achieve, but capable of the same manner of unrestricted operation accorded to the Scions. 'Tis my hope that the successful utilization of such a force will lend momentum to the lagging deliberations. Also, being a primarily military outfit, I mean to assuage fears of its misuse by placing the fledgling organization under the authority of the antecedent. The Scions work tirelessly to protect Eorzea and its people. But as you yourself have witnessed with the refugee revolt, there are limitations to what even we can achieve. With this new company under the Scions' command, however, we will be capable of responding to a wider range of difficulties without straining our resources or overtaxing your formidable talents. The goals of my proposed organization and those of the Scions are ultimately identical, a point conceded by all concerned. But before I can move forward with establishing this precursor to the true border-spanning Grand Company, 'tis yet necessary that I visit the three leaders to gain their official approval. A tiresome and time-consuming task, which is why I would ask that you accompany me on the journey and attend to the business of recruiting our inaugural members while I am otherwise engaged with bureaucratic formalities. Thank you. 'Tis reassuring indeed to know that the bringer of light and her discerning eye will be selecting our future allies. Our first destination will be Limsa Lominsa. Let us rendezvous in Bulwark Hall. An entire nation-spanning grand company. Does sound like a good idea. We'll have to see just how Alphino plans to pull it off. There's your boy, Alphino. Ah, there you are. I am ready to ascend to the bridge and speak with Admiral Blufisvin. While the Admiral and I are finalizing permissory boundaries and signing parchments, I would have you begin the recruitment process in earnest. I have, of course, endeavored to spread the word of our organization through various channels, but I believe a personal approach will reach many who may otherwise remain ignorant of the opportunity. As for potential members, 'tis of no matter who they should they already be pledged to another institution, only that they are willing to lend their strength when the situation demands it. And you needn't range into the countryside. The upper decks alone are populated with sufficient candidates to suit our purpose. Once you're satisfied with your recruiting efforts, meet me at the airship ticket counter that we might prepare for our next leg of our journey. Alright, looks like our potential recruits are all over the place. This Mikote's name is French Toast. God damn it. Alrighty, who do we got here? Roswin. Who in the bloody hell do you think you're talking to, Drylander? I'm a pirate, not some sudden knight in shining plate. If you're looking for a self-righteous fop, try knocking on that dandy Carvelin's door. Well, I guess you're not in. Hananza? Will you join us? A precursor to a united Eorzean Grand Company. While I do admire the scope of your ambitions, my responsibility here at Naldik and Vimelis keep me close to the forge. I have not the time to be traipsing hither and yon across the realm. Should you require my skills as an armorer, however, I might be willing to accept some special commissions. Well, that's helpful at least. How about you, Riol? Why is your name familiar? Well, if it ain't Foxy, I'd not forget a venture brave enough or daft enough to seek a shortcut into Titan's bedchamber. Oh yeah, he did help with that, didn't he? You remember old Riol, didn't ya? Don't ya? Formerly of the Company of Heroes. 3 whistles at Bronze Lake. Aye, it ain't often I drag my ass out to Limsa for a drink, but I'm right glad I did. How fare you these days? You looking to put together a new crew? Top-tier work? Sounds like a right lark, it does. Alrighty, last count me in. The heroes may have gone their separate ways, but I ain't ready to climb into my grave just yet. Finally, somebody willing. Oh, this is that Carvelin person that this other lady spoke of. An organization with the freedom to operate with territorial impunity. I must say your proposal intrigues me. But the Krakens well know that there is a time to act and a time to watch, and I'm afraid this trial company of yours falls into the latter category. Well, it's a no then. Well, how about the marshal or whatever he is of the Yellow Jackets? Master Alphino's new organization? Yes, I had heard of the formation of his trial company was in the offing. 'Tis with regret, however, that I must decline your invitation. As commander of the Yellow Jackets, the protection of Limsa Lominsa must needs receive my full attention. Alright, to the airship dock then. You know, at least his excuse made sense. The others are just asshole pirates. Well, Alphino, I've got a little bit of good news at least. Foxy, your recruiting went well, I trust. I'm curious as to know how my proposal was received by the rough and ready folk of Limsa Lominsa. Ah, a member of the legendary Company of Heroes indicated his interest. Astonishing. I knew enlisting your aid was the right choice. Few could boast the acquaintance of such an elusive character. I, too, was successful in my task. The Admiral consented to sign all the documents requiring her approval. I can only hope that my visit with the Elder Seedseer proceeds as smoothly. Pray continue on to Gridania at your own pace. I shall await your arrival at Nofika's altar. I might as well take the airship. I'm right here. It's cheaper. Not that Gil is a problem. It's been a while since we've seen this cutscene. You know, it feels like we've come here quite a lot recently. My audience with the Elder Seedseer is due to commence momentarily. I would be grateful if you would once more see to the task of recruitment here in Gridania. After you deem the well of potential candidates has run dry, let us rendezvous at the airship ticket counter as before. Alright, so who is going to respond to our requests here? Somebody by Mikedo's Amphitheater. 3, 4... Only 4, and they're all in the same general area, thankfully. Laurentius. Why is that name familiar? Oh gods, can it truly be you? By what fickle fortune must the first face I see upon my release be yours? Oh yeah, that's right, he was selling secrets to the Garleans. Could it be you don't remember me? It is I, Laurentius, the man whose crimes you exposed. I was a whaler and a regular patron at Buscaron's. Yes, now I remember. Well, of course you do. I was beginning to wonder if jail had changed me more than I realized. Not that I have any particular wish to be recognized after my shameful conduct. The less said of my past, the better, I suppose. And what of you, adventurer? What business brings you to this part of Gridania? Recruiting? And what is your policy on reformed convicts? As matters stand, the Wood Whalers would have naught more to do with me. This may be just the second chance I was looking for. Revenant's toll, you say? I shall leave at once. You shall not regret this, I promise you. I am a changed man. I sure hope so. You seemed repentant enough. Alright. Let's see who else we got. Elian, I feel like I should recognize your name too. Grandfather, you must call it a day. Let us return to the guild and rest ere your tormented back give up on you for good. I'm terribly sorry, we're just... Oh, Foxy, isn't it? It's been some time since our paths crossed outside of Copperbell Mines. Oh, she was one of those adventurers who were sitting outside. Why, you were barely more than a novice adventurer then, but look how far you've come. Mother Miyun tells me 'twas you who felled the fearsome Black Wolf. And now you seek stout-hearted souls to fill the ranks of a new order? Well, your cause is undoubtedly just, and my old companions here would be much relieved to see me in good hands. Yes, I'll do it. This is the very thing I've spent, my entire adventuring career working towards. I shall join your company just as soon as I've seen... Oh god, I'm hiccuping. Isildur safely home. My back is perfectly fine, I tell you. You'll have to tie me to my bed if you think to prevent me from... ow! Well, mayhaps I will rest for a short while. Yeah, good idea. Good idea. Ursendel. You would offer this old man a place in your company of champions? I am both puzzled and honored by your invitation. Pray forgive me, young mistress, but I cannot accept. I have sworn to abide here for whatever scant years remain to me, and bear responsibility for the evils my lady has wrought upon the land. Really, why would we ask him? He's old as fuck. He probably can't fight. I guess he could be like a butler or something. Has anyone else ever thought of, like, calling butlers asslers instead? I know, I sound like I'm fucking 12 years old making this joke, but it made me laugh for some reason. Anyway. 'Tis not often a guild officer such as myself gets recruited, and this company of yours certainly sounds to have some promise, but its duties appear less than focused. I must refuse your invitation until such time as your organization is more organized. Well, fine, we don't need you and your fucking bone lance either. I mean, what's that going to do against a Garlean war machine? Okay, Alpha, now we were a bit more successful this time. What news, Foxy? For my part, the Elder Seedseer was most amenable to our requirements. A former wood whaler and a seasoned adventurer. Our company will not lack for variety, that much is certain. An interesting harvest indeed. Shall we strike into Ul'dah while the iron is hot? Let us meet at the Royal Promenade and endeavor to conclude our remaining business. Our journey draws to a close. What's it gonna be like at Ul'dah? Ul'dah, the gilded city where one's fortune defines one's worth. I hope some manner of fortune is with us, and that this final leg proves as successful as the previous two. Might I suggest descending to the lower level before beginning your recruitment efforts? I do not think the Sultana will take kindly to us poaching from her personal guard. Let us meet back here at the promenade when our respective tasks are complete. Good hunting, Foxy. Yeah, much as I'd love to have some of the Sultan sworn in our ranks, probably not a good idea to attempt that. Now, where can I find these people? Some by the markets, the Weavers Guild, and there are 5 people in total. Okay, we'll start at the markets. Alright, how about you, Sintgot? What a name. A company that looks to cure the ails of the realm entire? Listen, friend, I can scarce bear the complaints of the next stall over, let alone the conundrums of a neighboring nation. I don't know why the fuck we'd ask him anyway. He's a merchant, he doesn't care. Landebert. Have you come to tell me the news, soldier? Well, I've already heard it. Seems the would-be savior of Uldah's refugees went and got himself killed, and not by your hand. He was just as much a pawn as the hapless cast-offs he sought to deceive. That's not why you're here? Ah, you'd be surprised what rumors drift down to Pearl Lane. I know of this glorious new company of yours, and just how far I'd go to avoid getting involved with it. Whispers on the streets say your organization is funded by corrupt coin, by syndicate money. If you think you're recruiting for a just cause, then you're a bigger fool than I took you for. I don't know why you'd think that. I mean, we're just starting out. It's being formed by one of the Scions, and we notably don't take money from the syndicate. How about you? I'm sorry, you wish to recruit me? Is this some new-fashioned manner of propositioning a lady? No, Jesus. I mean, look at that lipstick. That's not good. Well, I'm afraid you're wasting your time. This lady is already spoken for. Good day to you, miss. Why the fuck would we ask her? She probably couldn't even lift that dress she's wearing. It's Sister Arson. Remember her from the cathedral? Oh, what a happy coincidence. Do you remember me, perchance? I am Arson, of the Church of Saint Adama Landama. Thank you again for your timely rescue, and I must also thank you for preventing that fraudulent priest from preying on dry bones less fortunate. A most upsetting business. Are you here with your companion, Thancred, was it? Ah, 'tis new companions you seek, then. Your proposed organization sounds a powerful force for good, but my place is at the church with the children. Nevertheless, I wish you well in this undertaking. Probably the most polite decline we've gotten. Actually, no, the others have been pretty polite, except for a few. One more over at the Colosseum. The Gladiators Guild. It's been a while since we've been there. But we will not be going into the Gladiators Guild. We're going to talk to this guy over here, Wilrid. Wait, you're the lady who came to Little Ala Mhigan looking for that masked devil. That's right, we stopped him from doing bad. Who knows what might have happened if you hadn't. I'd probably be dead, and a whole lot more of my friends besides. We're such fools. Any road, that disaster got me to thinking about our homeland and about the outsider who saved us from ourselves. I realized how easily I'd been manipulated and vowed to make myself a more worldly man, so here I am. A new company of champions? And you say it will take me to all corners of the realm? That sounds exactly like the opportunity I need. And don't worry, I'm not the same stripling you met in Little Ala Mhigan. I've prepared myself to fight the evil I know is out there. Very good. Wilrid's grown up a little bit, it seems. Well, Alphino, we did okay. How fared you, Foxy? What hidden gems do the streets of Ul'dah offer up to your unrelenting gaze? A single Ala Mhigan youth. Well, you've certainly given us an admirable start, even if our ranks are yet somewhat thin. In these troubled years following the calamity, talk of Eorzea's salvation must seem akin to grasping at clouds. But there are those who have risen to the challenge nonetheless. And the hope that inspires these people was born in no small part from the victories that you yourself have won. Thank you, Foxy. I will not squander the precious gift you have placed into my keeping. These recruits will become the foundation of a new beginning. And yes, we are free to begin. As you have no doubt surmised, the Sultana has also graced my trial company with her blessings. Our first wave of recruitment is over, the documents signed, and the finances secure. There is naught to prevent me from taking the next step. You're concerned by the Syndicate's involvement? Oh no. That other guy wasn't lying. As was I. Thus was the origin of every coin of their contribution carefully scrutinized and recorded. This organization will not be built on corruption. Naturally, I would prefer not to rely upon outside sources at all, but even my family's substantial coffers could not sustain a venture of this magnitude. As for the rumors and doubts surrounding this enterprise, well, such things shall plague us until the company has had a chance to prove its worth. It will not be an easy process, but we will earn people's trust one success at a time. Speaking of time, we should waste no more of it. Let us return to the Rising Stones and lay the first stone for a united Eorzea. Alphino, you're playing with fire, taking the Syndicate's money. I didn't know airships flew to Mordona. They don't have a dock. Unless we're not taking one. And this is just... yeah.
Tell me, General, what think you of Alphino's bold endeavor?
I think it is more than bold, Your Grace. His organization would pave the way for a united Eorzea. Well do I understand his impatience. Since facing the common threat of the Ultima weapon, our nations have seemed farther apart, not closer together. Considering the many problems we face, should we not be glad that someone else is taking the initiative?
We have all pledged our cooperation, yet the grumbling continues behind closed doors. Ul'dah is not alone in her duplicity. I myself have doubts as to the good this organization will achieve. With the inclusion of the finest soldiers of the 3 grand companies, it promises to be a fearsome military body. But whom will it serve? Even under the watchful gaze of the Scions, it is not unthinkable that such a force could perpetrate a great wrong. Does it not concern you that a significant proportion of its financial backing came from the coffers of the Syndicate? That those unprincipled worms might forge this extraordinary gathering of warriors into a private army?
I have trust in the Scions, Your Grace. They have spared us no end of trouble at the hands of the primals. If they seek reinforcements, I deem it unwise to deny them. As for their finances, full many gave generously. And though our nobles proffered a sizable sum, their coin did not spill from the pockets of Lolorito and his cronies. And what of the presence of our stalwart adventurer friend in this endeavor? I doubt the Warrior of Light would betray our cause.
Yes, there is that, I suppose. Yet I have known people to change. Whether we will or no, the events of the age hurl us this way and that, like a dust devil skipping across the sands. Cannot be done about Telechi?
I have explored all avenues available to us, Your Grace. But as Ul'dah law now stands, we lack the evidence to convict him of any crime. To arrest him on spurious grounds would only play into his hands.
He has all but committed treason, and yet we can do nothing?
Have faith, Your Grace. It is not over.
Well, with that somber scene fresh in our minds, let's head back inside the Rising Stones and see to this new organization. Alphino. That is not a journey I soon wish to repeat. But I cannot pause to rest. The culmination of all our efforts is at hand. I must see to the preparations for the inaugural ceremony. Thank you for allowing me to monopolize your services, Foxy. I am certain the antecedent will be relieved to see you free for other duties. I'm sure she will. How about it, Minfilia? You have anything for us? Greetings, Foxy. Alphino tells me that all is in place to begin his trial company. The Scions shall certainly be grateful to have the support of such an organization. The inaugural ceremony is set to take place here at the Rising Stones. Tataru is cooperating with Alphino to see that all is in readiness, so I'm afraid the recruits themselves have been left to their own devices for the time being. Quite a number of new faces have arrived in Revenant's Toll of late, and I wonder if Slaftborn might not find himself overwhelmed. Would you speak with him and see if there is aught he requires? We can certainly do that, but we're going to do it in the next episode. We're going to go and check on Slaftborn and the new recruits to this new trial Grand Company. But, once again, we're going to wait on it. I'm Foxy Games, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Goodbye.